This is Matt Hurt at Obsessive Viewer on Twitter.
This is Robert Fekkes at Nerdster330 on Instagram.
And this is ObsessiveViewer.com's The Obsessive Viewer Podcast. Hello and welcome to The Obsessive Viewer. I forgot what I was supposed to say. We're a movie and TV podcast that covers a specific topic, be it genre, trope, movie, or show, each episode. You can find more of our work at ObsessiveViewer.com and more podcasts presented by Obsessive Viewer at ObsessiveViewer.com/podcasts. And if you'd like to support what we do here, you can become a patron at Patreon.com/ObsessiveViewer, where at the $1 a month level, you get instant access to over 150 exclusive B-roll episodes of us just kind of farting around or talking about movies or anything that strikes our fancy. Tons and tons of content there for just $1 per month. And if you choose to support us at $2 per month, you get access to all of that, plus TV and book reaction episodes. I'm planning a very ambitious Stephen King short story episode series for Patreon next year. So right at, each Sunday of January, as of right now, will be a new episode of me talking about stories from his Night Shift collection. So that's at $2 per month. Plus you get the B-roll episodes as well at the $1 a month level. Or if you choose to do $5 per month, you get all of that stuff plus movie reviews and commentary tracks. I have, I think, like 25 commentary tracks on there. And as of right now, like 8 what I'm calling Patreon potpourri, where I talk about 4 movies that I've watched recently and just for like an hour. So I have all that up there for the $5 level. And again, that is cascading. So $5 gets you that plus the $2 and $1 levels. And then finally at $10 a month, you get all of that plus early access and unreleased content. So again, that's at patreon.com/obsessiveviewer. I'm your host, the aforementioned Matt Hurt. And with me today, making his triumphant return to the podcast, is recurring co-host Robert Fekkes.
Hello. Far less recurring than have been in past, but I'm back.
Yes. Yeah, but I will say, not to throw any shade.
Oh, no.
You are not the least recurring co-host this year. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. All right.
But, yeah.
Goddamn
but
COVID.
I know. Well, yeah, I guess COVID's to blame. Not really. No. None of our co-hosts are dead.
I blame COVID for everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of COVID, I should, by the way, in this episode, this is going to be kind of a unique episode. We're going to be reviewing Spider-Man No Way Home and The Matrix Resurrections, but I'm going to be doing these recordings in 2 separate recordings. So Fekkes and I are going to be talking about Spider-Man No Way Home, and then I'm going to have my friend Sam from Midwest Film Journal on to talk about Matrix Resurrections. And the plan is to have this episode released on Christmas Eve. So hopefully you guys are having a good and safe and fun Christmas. From the smell of things, I don't know if my neighbors are. Which is an off-mic conversation. I don't know if we can talk about it here.
I mean, you can. It's just, do you want to?
I don't know. There might be a dead body in my apartment building.
So, for the people that have listened and know what I do for a living,
he's a serial killer.
I murder people all the time. No one's caught me yet, and I talk about it on podcasts, which is the craziest thing. So no, I'm a police officer, and I've had the unfortunate outcome of coming across several dead bodies of various stages of comp in my career, and I know the smell of a rotting dead body, and I am 99% sure that Matt's got a dead neighbor right now.
Yeah, which that's something.
That is something. Yeah. It happens, people. It happens all the time. It's a circle of life.
Yep.
Beautiful, really.
Mm-hmm. I guess.
Sure.
Yeah. But yeah, we're going to investigate further, and I will keep you guys posted in the next episode, or maybe when I record with Sam later this week.
When do you plan on recording with Sam?
Thursday.
I would hope by Thursday at least one of your neighbors decide. If I can't get a hold of your courtesy officer, I feel like I'm surprised nobody's called yet, because it's a pretty strong smell.
Yeah. I just thought it was cooking.
That's define cooking, I guess.
Right, that's true. I don't know what the circumstances of this potential dead body is. I don't know if there's someone else in the room that is prepping it for something.
God, I hope that's not the case. I hope so it's just somebody that passed away and has not been checked on.
Yes. So we will keep you guys posted on that. But let's talk about movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's why we're here.
Yes. We are at the tail end of 2021. And we're gearing up for the end of the year. Fekkes, I have already conscripted you to make your top 10 list, which we'll be talking about next week on the solo episode that I'm doing. And so I'm excited to dive into what your top 10 list is going to be. But are there any movies aside from The Matrix which you're going to see this week?
I'm seeing it Wednesday. I already got my ticket.
Nice.
Prepped, ready to go for after work, as long as nothing
Very nice.
Silly occurs to keep me from getting off early. So
Nice. Question: are you seeing it in IMAX, Dolby, regular?
That's a good question. I bet I could find the answer to that right now. I can tell you precisely what time it's going to be. It's at 10:30 p.m. at the AMC on the South Side. If anyone wants to come in, get my autograph or anything like that.
Yeah. I love that theater.
It's the best.
Yeah, it is. They have...
Cassie was, when I got home and I told her that I ran into you, she was like, why is he there? I was like, because it's a great theater.
Yeah. Also, it is... That was Thursday.
That was Thursday.
Yeah, it's closer to work.
Okay.
Yeah, I work downtown and...
You know what we still have not done, and I think we talked about it the last time I was on, was you get off of work and... trying out Metazoa.
Yes.
Trying to get you in on that beer.
We still have not tried that. We will have to do that. Yeah.
So you just name a day.
Okay.
And we'll get that taken care of. So apparently I am just seeing this in the regular auditoriums. No, that's IMAX.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It'll be an IMAX showing.
Okay.
At 10:30 p.m.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good deal.
Have you just to prep for this? Have you rewatched the trilogy?
Man, I've been so busy. I got to watch one Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
I watched Homecoming.
Okay.
And the plan was to watch both of those, and that didn't pan out. And then I was going to try to watch the Matrix movies, and the only way that's going to happen now is if I watch them both tomorrow. But it turns out at work, and it is our busy season at work, and so I've been working a lot.
Dead bodies in apartments.
Dead bodies all over the places. So no,
our pets' heads are falling off.
Honestly, part of this. Part of the reason too is I'm busy with other things, but I've dove back into the Call of Duty scene.
Oh, gotcha.
That's gotten me kind of hooked. So.
Okay, I've seen some of your Facebook posts about it, and I can't go back.
So you want a funny story about? I'm one of the lucky few people on the planet that has been able to get a PlayStation 5.
Nice.
And there's a feature of the controller that I did not know was a thing. And so I'm playing Call of Duty 5, and my little puppy dog, who hates video games, jumped up on my lap, and I go, "Hey, buddy." And all of a sudden I saw her going, "Hey, buddy, hey, buddy." And I'm looking, and I'm like, what the fuck? So I bring the controller close, and I go, "Can you guys hear me?" Yeah. I'm like, "Oh, okay." Because I've said things.
Oh, that is fantastic.
So yeah, anyone that doesn't know, the PlayStation 5 is a microphone as well as a controller.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I demonstrated this feature to my wife, Cassie, and she was, and I showed her, and the way I did it was we're playing around, and I go, "Benedict Cumberbatch apparently has a huge dick." And someone goes, "Okay, thanks, I guess."
Nice.
Someone was offended by my gamer tag. Apparently, fucking Gen Z people. They can't make jokes.
Well, Gen Z's all right. I don't know.
You're a millennial.
I know. I'm just trying to keep the fan base.
Anyway,
you know,
if you don't know, my gamer tag is China Virus 19.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, the eyes are ones because I tried doing it the other way, and they're like, "Yeah, we're not going to let you do that."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But China Virus 19 is funny. It's funny. Let's have a sense of humor, people.
Sure.
Jesus Christ.
I just got my booster on Saturday, I think. So Friday. It was Friday.
Bill Gates is happy.
So I know. Yeah.
He told me.
Yeah.
He's like, we got another one.
Nice. No, I got the booster, and then because I felt bad.
Did the booster? Was it worse than your first 2 shots?
Oh, no. I got the Johnson & Johnson, so I just had the 1 shot.
Oh, okay. All right.
That I would say is probably comparable. Because like the thing, well, no, I think the Johnson & Johnson, the 1 shot, I think that was just slightly worse. It was manageable. It wasn't like anything.
I got the J&J too, because I'm all about the C students.
Yep.
And I'll tell you what, I didn't feel anything. I went home that night and I said, fuck it. If I'm going to feel bad tomorrow, I'm going to give myself a reason to. So I just started drinking.
Well, there you go.
And I woke up the next day. I was like, well, I feel fine.
Nice.
So
I had the experience where I got the shot, did the 15 minutes, then came home. By the time I was home, and granted, you were fairly asymptomatic when you had COVID, right?
Yeah, well, I don't like throwing around the term asymptomatic because it literally means no symptoms.
Oh, yeah.
Like there were documentable symptoms. It was just one of those things that if I had not had to get tested, I would have just thought I was tired.
Gotcha.
So, no, I mean, I had a mild fever, so that's a symptom. But
yeah. I had a bad time with it.
Yeah,
but,
you did.
Yeah, but
I just had a buddy, a guy I work with, just had he got over it last week, but he had a rough go of it too. He got pneumonia from it. So.
Damn! Wow.
Yeah, he bounced out of it, but yeah,
nice.
It sucks.
Yeah, but after I got the vaccine, by the time I got home, like it was. And I've said this on the podcast before, but like I just felt like, oh, I have that like kind of like that respiratory feeling. Like it was like just remembering like the feeling of all the symptoms I had.
Yeah.
But just like briefly because it was just a vaccine. But I had a little bit of that with the booster. But like I got it on Friday, and on Saturday the IFGA met for our annual meeting, and we did it over Zoom. And so like I'm sitting on my couch with like. In a Zoom meeting for about 4 hours. We went about 4 hours to deliberate on the nominees and everything and announce the winners.
Time.
Yeah. By the way, we announced the winners. Check out the show notes for the link, and I'm very proud of it. But also, I'm probably going to talk to Sam about it as well when we record later in this episode. But so I'm sitting there, and then like I'm just getting like just a headache, and just I feel like not lightheaded, but I just feel like I'm just so tired and hungry. Which was just because I didn't plan properly.
Right,
so
yeah.
I ended up like ordering MCL. Then I had to like mute my side and just down some like stuffed chicken breast. Yeah, but no, it was good though. I survived. I'm okay.
I'm glad.
Yeah. But yeah. So anyway. Today on the podcast, we're going to be talking about Matrix Resurrections later, but right now we're going to be talking about Spider-Man No Way Home, and I'm actually going to postpone it a little bit because I want to ask you, Fekkes.
I did find my way home.
Oh, good. Nice.
Yes.
Bless your heart.
Thank you.
Did you see the trailer that dropped today for The Northman?
No, but my Twitter feed is all abuzz about it.
Yeah, it's the new Robert Eggers movie. It's about like a Norse warrior guy who is he played by Alexander Skarsgård, who basically has this quest to go avenge his father's death, save his mother. And like I had a pretty popular tweet. It wasn't as popular as my other tweet, but dang. I just saw something on my feed. But anyway, okay, so in the trailer, Alexander Skarsgård is saying, he says, avenge father, save mother, kill Fjolnir. It's like that's repeated throughout the trailer. And so I posted an image of a clip from a shot from the trailer, and then an image from a certain movie underneath it. And I just put in quotes, avenge father, save mother, kill Fjolnir. Go to the Winchester, have a nice cold pint, and wait for all this to blow over.
All right. That's better than the other one.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
okay. Wow. All right. Thank you.
Sorry.
I think. But no, I had previously posted a screen grab from Back to the Future where it's what's his face? Biff saying, "Why don't you make it like a tree and
get out of
here?" And I attributed it to The Green Knight director David Lowery. So yeah, anyway, got a lot of play on Twitter.
Well, it's where It's where the important things happen.
Yes. Okay. You said that you were able to rewatch Homecoming, but not anything else.
Not Far From Home, which, in all honesty, Far From Home is probably the more important one to watch.
Yeah,
but it'd been a bit since I've seen Homecoming, so
yeah, it's been a while for me too. I only had time, and I told you this in the theater, but then it was like in the midst of all this and everything. But like my check-in for watch, because I only had a chance to rewatch Far From Home, because I was at work in the office, and like that and Homecoming are really the only Spider-Man movies I had access to on my phone, like on Vudu.
Okay.
I don't think the Raimi movies are streaming anywhere that's accessible to me, and neither are the Amazing Spider-Man movies.
I own the Amazing Spider-Man movies.
Nice. Yeah, I'm going to ask you here in a second why, or like kind of a rundown for the franchise, but real quick, I just want to say that I watched Spider-Man Far From Home, and my check-in on Letterboxd was, and I will say this, no one has liked it. And this was like 4 days ago. So my check-in was, only had time to rewatch one movie before I see Spider-Man No Way Home today. So I chose Spider-Man 2 over Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 2 because Spider-Man 2 is on my Vudu account, while Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 2 aren't easily streamable.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was really proud of that.
But only one of those is actually called Spider-Man 2.
Right.
Just saying.
Yes.
One Spider-Man Far From Home, the other one's The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yes. Well, that is a good segue to bring us into a rundown of the franchise and where you're at with it. Going into Spider-Man No Way Home, of course, we're going to do a non-spoiler review of Spider-Man No Way Home and a spoiler review. But for now, let's kind of give a rundown of like your experience with Spider-Man, your history with it. If you want to talk about the comics, fine. But in terms of the films,
yeah, I was going to say I didn't ever really read the comics.
Okay,
so my experience with Spider-Man has just been his film debuts.
Okay.
But I specifically remember going to see the first Spider-Man in the theaters and absolutely loving everything about it. Even to the point where that came out the same summer as Star Wars Attack of the Clones. And I remember saying to my brother walking out of Spider-Man, I was like, man, Star Wars has got some catching up to do.
Oh, wow.
I loved it that much. And to be fair, that was one of the first, like, you had the Batman movies, and then those died with
X-Men.
Joel Schumacher. The X-Men movies were getting played too, but that was like one of the first. Well, I guess because X2 came after Spider-Man.
I think you're right. Yeah.
So you had X-Men come out in 1999 or 2000.
It was 2000, I think.
And I think Spider-Man came out in 2001 or 2002.
2002.
2002. Yeah. Okay.
Because they had to. I don't know if this affected the release date, but they had to.
That's right. 9/11. Yeah. So. That was, aside from X-Men.
Because they did 9/11.
Yeah. Everyone knows that Spider-Man was the perpetrator behind, he's the financier behind 9/11. No,
jet fuel can't melt steel webs.
But it was like one of the first big superhero movies, and man, it blew me away.
Yeah. I think I came to appreciate Spider-Man. I don't think I saw the first Spider-Man in theaters. I think I latched onto it on DVD, and it was one of those that was on heavy rotation on DVD.
Oh yeah,
I loved it.
It was such a watchable movie.
Oh, absolutely. And then Spider-Man 2 came out, and it was in 2004, and I remember distinctly it was like the weekend that it came out was the weekend that I started working at the movie theater. And they threw me at the back concession that's never open.
Oh, no.
And I was like, oh, God. And I've told this anecdote before, but like, I remember like there was an issue with the projector in one of the screenings for it. And this guy came out and was like, hey, there's no sound in Spider-Man 2. So if they can just rewind it and everything, it's like, I didn't know. I was like, yeah, I'll tell someone. And then like the managers were like, we can't rewind it. It's like, that's not like.
It's a film reel?
Yeah. So. Like, that's not gonna happen.
It's not a VCR, moron.
Right. But I mean, oh my God. That, first of all, the soundtrack is amazing for the time. And just that movie just blew me away. I loved it so much.
I remember Spider-Man 2 was like, aside from the Star Wars trailers, one of the first like trailers to be excited for. I remember me and my friends in college around the computer when it dropped for the first time and just rewatching the trailer again and again. And it started off with the scene where Doc Ock throws the car through the cafe window.
Oh, yeah.
And that just that blew us away. And the movie was incredible then. So I fell in love with Spider-Man 2. In my opinion, then it was even better than the first one. And it was... Yeah. And then Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, Spider-Man 3. I have not revisited that in... I've seen it maybe twice.
That's probably about the amount of times I've seen it.
Yeah.
Obviously, Assault in the Theater. Man, it was just kind of... I felt like it... He tried to put too much into that movie.
Oh, yeah.
Which is ironic.
I think that was the studio.
Yeah, well,
also.
Probably.
Yeah.
It's ironic saying that because they literally have like 6 villains in Spider-Man No Way Home. But
that's why I was like a little like subconsciously I was a little nervous about this one, which we'll talk about.
But everyone wanted Venom, and they just threw together Venom. Like it was like, oh, here's the goo, came from space, and it's getting Topher Grace.
Right.
The Sandman stuff was good, I thought, and for the time, I thought the effects for Sandman were great. The Harry stuff didn't really hit.
No, that was the biggest downfall for me.
Yeah. So,
it didn't work for me.
And obviously everyone makes fun of the emo dance nonsense, and they should, because it's ridiculous. I really was turned off by him throwing MJ to the ground at the bar. I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
We can have Peter be a dick without him being abusive to his girlfriend.
Exactly.
That was too much.
Yeah. I agree.
And it is what it is. It happened, and it was Topher Grace is going to forever be a Venom,
right?
But it's forgettable.
Yeah, I agree. Then we have The Amazing Spider-Man and The Amazing Spider-Man 2,
which I was so against. These movies.
I remember. I have a distinct memory of us in Vegas, like before the first one came out, and like I'd asked you something about it, and you're like, "Oh, I think that Andrew Garfield's going to be terrible."
Yeah, I was like, "This is stupid. This piece of shit. Was he British? Fuck him." I was not for it. I don't even know why, to be perfectly honest. Maybe I was just my angsty mid-20s phase, and I'm like, "This is fucking dumb, man." Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But I walked into The Amazing Spider-Man and was floored by it. I thought it was such a good rendition. I thought Andrew Garfield did a great job. I liked that they brought the Lizard into it, because I, as a kid watching the animated Spider-Man show, I always liked the Lizard as one of the bad guys. So it was great. And I thought Dennis Leary did a good job as Captain Stacy. Yeah, it was, and had one of the best Stan Lee cameos, where him and Lizard are fighting in the library, and he's got his headphones on.
That was great. That was great. That was great. I haven't seen them in so long, so I can't really comment on either one.
It's been a long time too, and I was going to try to watch them before this one, and it didn't happen.
It's a tall order.
It is.
Yeah.
Fucking adulthood.
Yeah. I remember when the second one came out, I feel like me, Mike, and Tiny, because it was back in those days when we were on every episode, but I remember us being kind of favorable toward it, and then like being in the minority on that, because it was like, I think it made just nothing. Yeah,
and it did get shit on a lot, and I understand the problems, because I'm not blind to them, but I still enjoyed it. I thought Electro was a little cartoony.
Yeah.
I didn't love the blue, and I didn't love his... I like over the top. Jamie Foxx is this really nerdy guy, like stereotypically so, and he had a couple of funny moments. I did kind of appreciate that he was such a loner that he attached himself to Spider-Man after her first interaction with him.
I liked that. I remember liking that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the Goblin stuff,
Mm-hmm.
I understand they were trying to work in the Sinister Six.
Yeah.
So fair enough, and that's why you had the first to start off with Rhino, which would have. I like that. I like the start off with Rhino, but
especially Paul Giamatti. That's
Paul Giamatti's
it's
great.
An interesting choice.
I thought
he did well.
He did. I thought it was a fun choice, but the Goblin didn't work for me all that well.
Yeah,
and I like Dane DeHaan.
Me too.
I really do, but that wasn't his role.
Mm-hmm.
He really didn't strike me as that character. But but I did like one of the things walking out of Amazing Spider-Man 2 that I was impressed with. I never thought they would pull the trigger on Gwen Stacy.
Oh yeah.
And when it happened, that was literally shocked. So I couldn't believe that they did it, and I was impressed with that.
Yeah. I think I was just. I mean, I was expecting it because I'd heard about that in the comics and everything, and I thought it was fine.
I feel like this was before they started really being true to the comic books. Like with the MCU, they've really gone out of the way to, if it happened in the comic books, we're going to do everything we can to make it so that's the way it happens in the movies. So Emma Stone is a big actress, so for her to just sign on to these 2 films that could be an everlong franchise, I just thought that was ballsy, especially at the time.
Oh, absolutely. So before we get to the MCU Spider-Man movies, just really quickly, Venom and Venom Let There Be Carnage. How'd you feel about these 2 movies?
They're fun. Tom Hardy's a lot of fun, and they're decent action sequences, although it gets a little muddled in the final act in the first one and the second one, to be honest.
Yeah.
They're fine. Kind of forgettable. Mm-hmm. But like I said, Tom Hardy's fun. I thought Woody Harrelson was the standout in Let There Be Carnage.
Oh, interesting.
I thought he was fantastic.
I still stand by Tom Hardy. I think him in those 2 movies, he is having such a good time.
He is, and you can tell he is.
Yeah, and that's
the audience
infectious.
Really feels that.
Yeah.
They're fun movies. It's a far cry better than Topher Grace's Venom.
Oh yeah.
It's it's hard having Venom without Spider-Man, but I think they've done their best, and this is the best they could have hoped for. And it's not bad. They're not bad movies. I enjoy them. But it is what it is.
Also, they're relatively short, which is something that I really appreciate.
Yeah, well, they're both like an hour and a half. Yeah. So, and I think they know what type of movies they are.
Oh, absolutely.
So they know going in, it's like, hey, look, people like Venom, we're going to give them Venom. Yeah. And it's going to be cartoonish, it's going to be loud, it's going to be explosive. Yeah. And that's what they got.
Oh,
and that's what they gave. And it was good. You know, they're fun movies. Yeah. Like, do I own them? No, and I probably won't go buy them. But, I saw them in the theater and I enjoyed the experience when it happened.
Nice. So, yeah. All right, so before we get into our review of No Way Home, really quick rundown. Homecoming, Far From Home. How'd you feel about these 2 movies and Tom Holland's portrayal of Peter Parker / the Spitterman?
So, first of all, we're first introduced to Tom Holland as Spider-Man Civil War. And so I was sold from that point as Tom Holland as Spider-Man, because I thought he killed it in the small bit that he was in Civil War. He was great. I remember, and I think we reviewed it, I remember being at a point at that time where I was feeling Marvel fatigue. And I think in my review, I was like, it was fine. It was a good movie, but man, I just
for Civil War.
No. Okay. For Spider-Man,
for Homecoming.
Okay. Homecoming. No. Yeah. Spider-Man or Civil War is incredible. At that time, I was feeling the Marvel fatigue, and I was just like, I recognized that it was a good movie, but at that point, I even think I said it in the review. I was like, it's fine. I don't really want it right now.
Yeah,
but I've watched it a couple times since then, and my Marvel fatigue or superhero fatigue has worn off since then, and it's really a good movie.
Yeah,
like Michael Keaton is incredible as Vulture.
That car scene.
Oh yeah,
so good.
It's
so good,
fantastic. Like the stuff with him and Tony is great, especially the part where he just comes right out of the suit after he fucks up the ferry incident.
Yeah,
I love their interaction. And I love that he he gets stripped of his suit and then boom, all right, I'm back to doing what, the baseline Spider-Man. I'm in my sweatpants and goggles now.
Yeah.
So going back and rewatching it, it's really good. It's a really good movie.
It's so much fun. And
it is.
What I've come to appreciate about Homecoming and Far From Home, and to a certain extent No Way Home, is the way that these movies, not to throw shade at Sam Raimi's movies, because those, like Spider-Man 2 is one of my favorite comic book movies of all time. It's so good and it's formative for me and everything. But those movies take like the relationship between MJ and Peter and the high school drama and make it a little melodramatic, especially in that third one. But but here it's a more grounded Spider-Man. It's a more grounded Peter Parker in high school. Right. He has it is a high school kind of coming of age comedy.
Like one of his biggest, endeavors is going to Homecoming.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Going to Homecoming, and then in Far From Home, giving MJ a present and asking her out. Like, it's just
like those are very relatable teenage angst years. So and in the background, just like every kid in that time, you're trying to stop a illegal arms dealer.
Oh, absolutely,
just like I did. We've all been there.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, Homecoming was great. Far From Home gets some flack.
Does it?
Yeah. People don't really like it. And
I love Far From Home.
Interesting. Okay.
Well, first of all, I think I love Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, he's amazing.
And him as Quentin Beck is fantastic.
Okay,
I love how they introduced, or how they kind of molded Mysterio's powers into technology and not mysticism.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I thought that worked really well. And I like the background motivation going all the way back to Civil War.
Yeah. Going all the way back to Iron Man.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That's right. For him and his cohorts. The action sequences are great in that movie.
Visually amazing.
Yeah. It gets flack, does it?
It does. Yeah. And some of the issues that I'm aware of is just that it's, I think maybe people have a problem with, the whole kind of fake out of the multiverse, or the fake out of Mysterio, which makes sense.
No, well, I mean, it's, people's opinions are what they are, but I thought it was very reminiscent of the fake out in Iron Man 3 for
Mandarin.
The Mandarin.
Yeah.
So, and I thought that was clever.
Yeah. I liked that too in Iron Man 3. And
I love how they incorporated that, because Jake Gyllenhaal's character is right. He was like, we've seen so much shit, people are fucking gonna believe this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And that makes sense. I think I enjoyed the movie well enough, and like rewatching it, I found things to really kind of latch onto and like about it. Most notably, like that high school kind of comedy thing just lands with me. But the thing that I kind of found not disappointing, but just kind of dragging it down for me was that was the setting. Like in Europe, I want him to be in New York.
Well,
like,
okay,
I want that.
But we've, every Spider-Man movie's been in New York.
That's true.
I don't have a problem with him, venturing away from the big city.
That's fair.
It'd been different if he went to Omaha.
Yeah. Also, it wouldn't make sense for the title either. So
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Far From Home, he's gonna go from Queens to Manhattan.
Yeah.
No, those he operates in still decent cities. While I've been to Venice, there's probably not a lot of spider slinging to do there.
I've been to Venice.
But in London, he can sling his way through London, and and the action sequence in London was fantastic. I thought. I
agree. Great. Yeah. Also, the mid-credits scene is fantastic.
Which one's that?
The reveal of...
oh, God. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So good.
Oh, yeah.
The J. Jonah Jameson.
Yep. So great. But yeah, there was something else about that I really kind of latched onto in this rewatch. But
I like him struggling with him coming to terms with this is who he's going to be and what this is what he's going to do. So
I actually really like... Two things about it I latched onto this time around was that his grief over Tony and with his bond with Happy,
Yeah.
and how he's kind of guiding him, like that scene in the jet,
Yeah,
where he's watching
great,
him,
yeah, and he's like he's just like, you remind me of him, and,
yeah, it's great. I love Led Zeppelin.
yeah.
So great. But the other thing is that I feel like that's really well drawn in the movie, and it's also countered really well by Quentin Beck using Peter's vulnerability and naivete to manipulate him into getting him Edith. Yeah. And so I really came down. I think I was favorable to it. I've been favorable to the movie the 2 times I've seen it, but this time I got a little bit more out of it. But yeah, I've heard that it doesn't get a lot of love around the.
And not everyone's gonna love every. There's 20 some odd films in the MCU, so
yeah.
People are gonna have their picks, but I don't know. I think Far From Home is a stronger movie than Homecoming. In my opinion.
Interesting.
Yeah,
okay,
but that's, I don't know. Take it for what it is. I just, the action sequences are bigger, and maybe that's not always better, but I really enjoyed, especially the end sequence in London. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so we have talked about Spider-Man. Let's go ahead and review Spider-Man No Way Home. Yeah, so we're going to go into our review of Spider-Man No Way Home. Like I said, we're going to have a non-spoiler review and a spoiler review. We'll divide that up, and there's timestamps in the show notes, all that stuff. So here we go with our review of Spider-Man No Way Home. All right, so like I said, non-spoiler review first, and then a spoiler review. The plot summary for Spider-Man No Way Home is, with Spider-Man's identity now revealed, Peter asks Doctor Strange for help. When a spell goes wrong, dangerous foes from other worlds start to appear, forcing Peter to discover what it truly means to be Spider-Man. Spider-Man No Way Home is the up-teenth Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. It's directed by John Watts, written by Chris McKenna, Eric Summers, and some other people. Nope, that's it. And I think I said directed by John Watts, starring Tom Holland as Peter Parker, Zendaya as MJ, Benedict Cumberbatch, Jacob Batalon, Jon Favreau, and a bunch of people from other movies. So, Fekkes, what were your expectations going into Spider-Man No Way Home? And did you expect, in your wildest dreams, did you expect to run into me at the theater?
Well, I'll address that one first.
Okay.
Yes, because it's not the first time that's happened.
No, it's not. No.
In fact, it's happened several times.
Yes,
so,
yes.
Was not surprising.
Yeah.
Pleasant though it was.
Yes. Oh, yes. You berated an innocent
I
theater
pulled
goer.
my gun out and I was like, "Get out of that seat!" For those not in the know,
my friend Matt may have a dead neighbor, and you might be the next one.
So I typically get the same seat at the movie theater, J1 as it
also,
is.
You just preface that by saying, for those who don't know, like,
Well,
did you? Yeah, I don't think
everyone.
does.
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right. Anyway, everybody, I typically get J1, and at this particular outing, I thought I was in J1 as normal because I bought my ticket like a week prior, and I walk up and I see a gentleman in J1, and I'm not a dick about it. I'm like, "Hey man, I think you're in my seat," and he goes, "This is J1." I was like, "Yeah, it's J1." And he goes, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then I'm in the middle of pulling this up, I hear Matt go, "Fekkes." And I'm like, "Hey."
Yeah.
So now I'm in a conversation with Matt, also trying to get this guy to move out of his seat. And I look up my phone. I'm like, "Oh shit, I'm in L1." And I'm like, so I was like, "Hey man, I'm sorry. It was my mistake." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And so I pulled my gun out and
pistol whipped him a little bit.
That's fine.
Yeah,
he got to learn something from
it. Oh yeah. One of my favorite anecdotes from like 2 years ago, I think, is that it was when I saw a double feature just for fun. Like I went and saw, I think, The Lighthouse and then something else. But when I went to something else, whatever movie that was, I got to my seat and then a couple came by and sat in the seats right next to me. And I was just like, oh, fuck, really? The whole theater. God damn it. Okay. And then they sit down and they're quiet for a moment. And then there's a moment where he turns to me and he says, "Hey, are you?" And for the briefest second, I was like, "Oh, fuck, a fan." But he ended up saying, "Are you supposed to be in this seat? Because I think this is my seat." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, this was the seat I had for the last movie, and I'm over there. Sorry about that." So yeah,
I've run into several instances where somebody's mistakenly been in my seat. It's never nefarious. It's never anything of I'm trying to take this guy's seat, but it happens.
Yeah, I had a guy that was in my seat at Cry Macho, and I just went to see further down the road because I didn't care, and there wasn't hardly anyone there.
That's very macho of you.
Yeah, it was, and I didn't cry. I was very macho, and that guy slept through the entire movie, like loudly slept. And I also really had to go to the bathroom because I got popcorn, and so I went to the bathroom. I had earbuds just in my pocket, and went to the bathroom. Did my business. While I'm doing my business, loaded up HBO Max, watched, ran to where I was in the movie and watched it while I took a shit, and then went into the theater. So,
God, isn't technology grand?
It's amazing. So yeah, I was very proud of that. But the movie wasn't that great. So Spider-Man No Way Home.
Expectations going in.
Yes, your expectations going in.
Well, they were grand expectations, if I'm perfectly honest, because this was the biggest movie since Endgame as far as MCU movies are concerned. And not only that, it's a Spider-Man movie who is now arguably one of the premier characters in the franchise. And there were rumors galore swirling about on this movie as to who's going to be in it, who's not going to be in it. The trailer had already come out. You know, Dr. Octopus, Alfred Molina from Spider-Man 2 is going to be in it. You knew Willem Dafoe comes back as the Goblin. So expectations were sky high for this thing. I was expecting nothing short of brilliance. So, and that's a tall order. You know, sometimes the MCU can on occasion disappoint. So it did have, especially with as ambitious as this movie appeared to be, there could have been a high chance that it could have really caved in on its own ambition.
Yeah, and I think that there is maybe not necessarily I don't know, I kind of feel like there is a level of chance, like there's a level of risk with the Spider-Man movies because it is a co-production with Marvel Studios and Sony, and like I don't know the inner workings of that. I don't know how that works out. I don't know what goes into planning it, but like,
well, I know that this film almost didn't happen if it weren't for a drunken Tom Holland.
Oh, really?
Yes. So after Far From Home, I guess there was a dispute financially about what was going to go on from there, and I remember it happening. Sony and Marvel cut ties and said we're not doing this.
I vaguely remember that
Tom Holland got drunk at a bar and I guess called Sony, and I was like drunkenly convinced him at the time to open up negotiations with Marvel.
That's awesome.
And they ended up, I read the parameters of the renegotiations. I think it was Disney was going to take a little bit more, or allow Sony a little bit more of the ticket profits. Whatever happened, they rectified it by profit sharing. But it was apparently a drunken Tom Holland that opened up the communications.
That's awesome.
Again. So.
Yeah. How do you feel about him as Spider-Man and Peter Parker?
I think he's brilliant as both. Yeah. He's the first Peter Parker that has been of arguable high school age to play a high school kid. Although he's probably like 24 now.
Oh, yeah.
No, he's great. He's charismatic. He's likable. He's that quirky kind of nerdy that you would expect out of Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Especially a science geek. He's knocked it out of the park every time he's played Spider-Man.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that he is kind of like the marketing team's like secret weapon
or nightmare, because he always fucking spoils shit.
Well, that, and like I just remember like the title reveal for No Way Home was great because they did that whole
I didn't see it, but
thing.
I read about it.
Yeah,
that was fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I agree. I think he's charming as hell.
Yeah, it seems like a good dude outside of the film too. So.
Oh yeah, very very brief tangent. Just really quick, like 2-word response. How do you feel about the Uncharted trailer?
I don't need it.
Yeah.
I've played the Uncharted movie or games. They're great games. I don't need this movie.
Yeah. Even that kind of slip up there is exactly like where I'm at. Yeah. Like it's so weird of me to say this because it's so weird of me to make this statement, and this is a big statement, but like I don't believe that there is a way that they can make an Uncharted movie and have it be as satisfying on a storytelling level as any of the games.
Correct.
Like there's just no way. So it'll be fun, I think.
I'm sure I'll go see it and I'll find some enjoyment out of it, but it's just, I didn't ask for it.
Yeah.
It didn't occur to me that this was something that needed to take place, but I know how these things go. I know that whenever there's an eye for profit, they're going to shoot their shot. So
yeah, what kind of bums me out about it is that I don't know who's directing it. I think I'm just looking up Ruben Fleischer. So he did, Zombieland.
Okay.
And, Venom, the first Venom. Yeah. But originally it was supposed to be, Dan Trachtenberg, who did 10 Cloverfield Lane. And what I was excited about for that was that he got his start doing a web show called Totally Rad Show, and where he talked about, like, he and his friends talked about like movies and TV and everything, and he always wanted to be a filmmaker and everything, and he talked very, very passionately about Uncharted, and it's just like seeing like that clip when it was announced that he was going to direct it was just like that seems like such a good fit.
Yeah, so, I mean, you'd rather have somebody that is in love with the source material.
Yeah.
But in the trailer, one of the big set pieces is when
the cargo plane.
I'm like, I played that.
Yeah.
Though. I played that in the game. I don't need to see it now.
That's true.
So I don't know. I don't need it.
Yeah.
Not excited for it.
Okay, cool. Well, that comes out in February, but we're talking about No Way Home.
Yes, we are.
So that was our paid ad for Uncharted. Just kidding. There's no ads in this.
You're welcome, Sony.
Yeah, check out patreon.com/obsessiveviewer though. But so Spider-Man No Way Home, where were we at with that? Tom Holland.
We're talking about expectations.
Yeah. So let's go into our non-spoiler review for Spider-Man No Way Home. First of all, that theater experience was
It was good. It was
so good for me.
Just a cathartic experience. Just getting back to what theater experiences were before the pandemic.
Yeah.
Like I've been, everyone knows I've been cavalier throughout the entire pandemic anyway, so I've been to the theater as soon as they reopened.
Yeah.
I think the most crowded, I Facebook something about this. Oh, it was Kong, Godzilla versus Kong.
Oh, okay.
And that was the first sold out movie I'd seen since the pandemic. But that was also when they were still doing certain percentages of allowing.
Oh yeah. Okay, like the not full capacity.
60% capacity or something like that. But this was the first time where everyone really just felt that charge in the theater. Everyone's anticipating this movie. Everyone's excited for it. Everyone has the same expectations, most likely. We're all waiting to see the big reveals that we know are there, but we don't know are there. And it was great. People were cheering in the theater again, and the laughter, and it was fantastic.
That, just hearing you talk about that now reminded me that I also kind of had a similar experience with Dune when I saw it in the IMAX downtown. But that was slightly different. Like, that was like a sold out show, packed house. Like, I remember like something I just kind of giggled to myself at was like, Tiny and I were sitting kind of at the end of the row, and like people were coming in and, getting to their seat and like brushing past us and everything. And like everyone was like, excuse me and everything, very, very polite and everything. And I just remember this one guy, I was just like, this is really nice. He's like, excuse me, happy Dune Day. Excuse me. And just like, that was like a small, tiny thing where I was just like, that's nice. That's good that we're here. But also Dune and Spider-Man No Way Home are not comparable, because Spider-Man No Way Home is like the crowd pleaser movie of 2021.
Yeah.
It is a theater experience like no other that I've had this year. And it's just like you said, I haven't really had this theater experience since Endgame. Because it has those big moments, those big shocking moments, those big surprises, those big just swinging, no pun intended, swinging for the fences in terms of comedy and reveals and stuff. It's a blast. And it just felt so good to be in attendance in a theater for that.
Yeah, it was good to be back. Felt like old times.
Yeah.
And it did disappoint. It gave all the big reveals that people wanted. It, all the action sequences that people were hoping for.
Yeah.
And it just, when it ended, everyone was talking, everyone was happy, everyone, we all had that shared experience.
Yeah.
Again.
Everyone was happy. Everyone was strange. Everyone was MJ. But no, let's talk a little bit about the kind of, oh God, I had a whole point that I was going to bring up, but let's talk about, and I'm trying to find it now. Okay. So my expectations for it, I was very excited for it and everything. But one of the, I had a couple of reservations going in that I cast aside and everything. And I'm so glad that they were unfounded, because a couple those reservations were, I was worried that it was going to be overcrowded with villains and everything.
Yeah, well, I mean
because that seems kind of part and parcel with Sony.
Well, it seems part and parcel with the Spider-Man franchise.
Yeah,
They happened in Spider-Man 3.
Mm-hmm.
They started to, it kind of ran into that problem in the Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah,
because they did kind of pack. And
they were so hard up to do the Sinister Six,
right?
That
so
it felt like the whole movie's.
I mean, there was 3 villains in that. You had Goblin, you had Rhino, you had Electro. So
yeah. So I had that concern. My other concern was, this was a very much lower grade, and I'm glad that this wasn't the case. But I was worried that this was going to be another. Not that I had a problem with this in, Homecoming or even Far From Home, but I was really worried that it was going to be like Spider-Man is the, maybe not sidekick, but Spider-Man with an older mentor. Oh. Because we had Tony in Homecoming, and Quentin in Far From Home, and the trailers were like, oh, okay, this is going to be Doctor Strange and Spider-Man.
Right.
That's fine. And I remember seeing a tweet or something that was like, can we just get a Spider-Man movie where he's not being mentored by fucking Sherlock Holmes? But I am so glad, and this is not a spoiler or anything, but Doctor Strange is sidelined for a good portion very of the movie. Good portion of the movie. And I thought I didn't audibly breathe a sigh of relief, but I was just very conscious of that. Thank you for doing that, because this is Spider-Man's movie. And man, when we get to spoilers, it's going to be a love fest through and through.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, this was the best. I will go ahead and say this is the best MCU movie that's not called Endgame for me, or Infinity War.
I had this discussion with a buddy of mine just yesterday. I still put it it's top 10 for sure.
Yeah.
But Endgame for me is probably number 2 with Winter Soldier is incredible.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Infinity War is fantastic.
Civil War's up there for me too.
Civil War. And it's there's so many top grade movies in MCU. So
I might have to walk that back, but I will say in terms of crowd pleasing, just below Endgame for me.
Yeah, and that's fair. It's in the conversation for top 5 to me. I don't think it is top 5, but it's it's certainly at the it's closer to 6 than 10.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Yeah, and the thing that I really loved about it is that it's no secret it does have characters from the other movies that are not in this universe, and I feel like they handled that so well.
They really did.
It's amazing.
Because that could have exploded on them.
Oh, absolutely.
But man, it's just a subtle touch. I guess it's no reveal because they were on the trailer. But that Sandman was done just right. He wasn't one of the most memorable.
Yeah, and so he wasn't that prominent in the movie, but he still had his own. He
still had his moments.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll tell you what, they had a perfect touch on it.
Oh, absolutely. I was surprised. I'm surprised how much this movie made me very much want to go back and watch the other ones, obviously.
It did too for me.
Like,
especially I wanted to go back and watch the Tobey Maguire ones again.
Oh yeah, I wanted to watch the Andrew Garfield ones more, like slightly more, because I don't know them as well as the Tobey Maguire ones.
Fair.
And like the way that like Electro is in this movie, I'm like I'm thinking like I kind of want to give him another shot in Amazing Spider-Man 2.
He's so much better off in this than he was in Amazing 2. So. Yeah.
But the thing that really struck me, and we'll talk more specifics in spoilers, but the way that this movie isn't, it is almost the antithesis of like a supervillain team up or supervillain overkill thing.
Yeah.
Because the whole point that Peter wants to do is so like the opposite of what normally you do,
especially in
especially in this world, in this universe. And I thought that was just such an amazing touch, because I feel like that created this cathartic and emotional Spider-Man, and it gave Peter in the movie tons and tons of heart, like that he's already had in the first two movies. And it's really something special, honestly. I think it's something really special in terms of the comic book movie pantheon.
Well, it's definitely a different take on how to approach the solution of the bad guys.
Yeah. Also, it made me think, like, I was just driving the other day, and I was just like, because I was driving and I thought I felt something on my hand, and I thought, it felt like a spider, and I did it, and then like I scratched my hand, and then it felt like it was itchy, and it felt like, oh god, I just got bit by a spider, and then I thought like, oh, that'd be interesting. Like, what if I got spider powers? And
that's a rational thought.
Yeah, well, I have that a lot actually, and then all I thought was like, how funny would, like, I don't know, maybe there's a comic like one shot or something of this, but like how funny would it be if like just some random dude that has no knowledge of science or anything got bit by a radioactive spider. So he's like, he has these spider powers, but he can't make the webs.
He's still super strong and could jump and stick to things.
That's true. It's
nothing to scoff at.
He'd be an amateur wrestler, the human spider. I need to watch the Raimi movies again. So what else do you want to talk about non-spoilers? How did you feel about performances and the set pieces?
Everyone did a fantastic job. Happy was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I thought Zendaya did a great job as MJ. I really love her quirkiness as that character.
I do too. I kind of feel like she has been, she's fine in it, but I feel like I don't know. I kind of feel like they're not really writing to that character's strengths the way that they were in Homecoming. Like, I kind of feel like Homecoming, she's this very weird out there
she's also
character.
Less prominent in Homecoming.
Well, yeah, but every time she's on
character.
Yeah, but every time she's on screen, it's like she's this weird girl and everything. And then they reveal that she's MJ, and then Far From Home and No Way Home, she's the love interest. Yeah. And like that kind of just feels like I want more of her like quirkiness and
I thought she had her quirks.
She did, but it's just not as prominent as in Homecoming for me.
Well, fair enough.
Yeah. But yeah.
And Benedict Cumberbatch was great as always as Doctor Strange,
Yeah.
And it's no secret that Willem Dafoe's in it, and he murdered it as Goblin.
So just like, I mean, even him and Alfred Molina, even.
Oh,
just
yeah,
like,
Alfred Molina too.
Like, it was astonishing to me because I was just like it's like they didn't even skip a beat.
Right.
Like, it's been decades and they haven't even skipped a beat.
It's been 20 years, and Willem Dafoe's like, yeah, I'm still Goblin.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yep. And it was also just amazing. Like, I mean, they looked great, and it was just
I guess they did de-aging. Did they? Only on Alfred Molina. They didn't do it on Willem Dafoe. But...
Okay. Well, damn, that's like almost imperceptible to me.
Well, I guess Willem Dafoe said that he wasn't going to do it unless he could do the physical aspects of the shoot. And
oh wow,
yeah. So
interesting.
More power to him.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Interesting. Yeah. So Far From Home left on a huge cliffhanger where his identity is revealed. That's the major inciting incident from the movie. How did you feel about that aspect of it, bringing us into this immediately after Far From Home, where everyone knows his identity? And how did you feel about that? In non-spoiler.
No, I thought it was great. Great showing the world's reaction to it too, and I love how they. there was two camps, the I believe Quentin Beck camp and the I believe Spider-Man camp. But it leads
Burris.
Hannibal Buress.
Oh my God.
Hilarious.
Yeah. Just so great.
But it leads to a perfect J. Jonah Jameson. And his him being back in the movie, first of all, was fantastic. But it's the perfect venue for J. Jonah Jameson to be the person that's going to split be so divisive.
Yeah.
And he played it perfectly because he always played it perfectly. He played
absolutely.
it perfectly in the Sam Raimi ones, and he's right back at it too. So.
They didn't have J. Jonah Jameson in The Amazing Spider-Man, right?
No,
he's the only actor who's played him.
Yes,
and I want that to stay forever.
Yeah, right.
Like I can't imagine a better J. Jonah Jameson.
He's one of those. He's like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine.
Exactly.
He's like Tony Stark as Robert Downey Jr. He's the iconic. That's the
yeah. Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark.
Well, that's confusing. Because
exactly. I loved it. The set pieces.
The set pieces are incredible.
Oh, absolutely.
I love the stuff in the mirror universe with Doctor Strange.
Yeah,
during the little chase sequence.
It's been a while since I've seen the first Doctor Strange movie, but I kind of forgot about that, and I love Peter's reaction to it. It subverts that.
The nerd. Yeah. This is geometry.
This is geometry. That's just so great.
And of course, the ultimate set piece at the Statue of Liberty was incredible.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. We can probably go into spoilers here. But kind of overall thoughts. What did you think? And where would this rank in your MCU if you didn't already say that before?
Yeah. Well, obviously, I loved it. It was heartbreaking at times. It was fun the other times. It's everything I was hoping for out of this movie, and I couldn't be more satisfied with it. It's the best Marvel movie since Endgame, and it was everything I needed it to be.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. I mean, this movie really blew me away, and it's something that I half expected, but I didn't expect. I was tearing up and almost on the verge of tears multiple times because of the plot and because of those cathartic moments with certain characters. That was just so unexpected to me. Loved it. I had plans to see it again tonight after work before we recorded, but I ended up I ended up leaving work early and just coming home and watching 8-Bit Christmas on HBO Max.
Okay.
Which is but anyway, it's an amazing movie. I love it. So let's go into spoilers for Spider-Man No Way Home. I'm going to play a clip from the trailer. I don't have it queued up, but I'm going to play some music here, and then when we come back, we're going to be spoiling Spider-Man No Way Home.
Hello, Peter. You're not Peter Parker.
I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Dr. Otto Octavius.
Wait, no, seriously, what's your actual name?
There are others out there. We need to send them back. So, Scooby-Doo this crap.
All this is kind of your mess. I know a couple of magic words myself, starting with the word please.
Please, Scooby-Doo this crap.
Okay, that's really just to mark where I'm at. Okay, so spoilers on for Spider-Man No Way Home. Fekkes, where do you want to begin with this movie? Because holy crap, there's tons of stuff.
Well, it's called Spider-Man, so let's talk about the Spider-Men.
Yes.
Going into this, it was the worst kept secret that Tobey Maguire was going to be in this movie.
Did you see the picture of him walking he literally had the poster in his arms? No. There was someone posted a picture of that, and then with the caption of Andrew Garfield in every interview. No, I don't know anything about Spider-Man No Way Home. I haven't been called or anything. I'd love to be in it and everything. And then Tobey Maguire, and it's just a picture of him walking with Dunkin' Donuts or something, and the poster just happy-go-lucky Tobey Maguire.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So Tobey, we all knew who was going to be in it. Mm-hmm. I will say this. I was 97% certain that Andrew Garfield was going to be in it, but he played it off so well.
Nice.
Like, so well to the point where I was like, maybe he's not. but you know, we're all like, yeah, of course he is. But I thought he did a great job of like just keeping it low key. He's like, I'd be great.
Yeah.
They haven't approached me. You know, he did great. Tom McGuire, not so much. But.
Oh yeah. But let's talk about Andrew Garfield's performance. Like, I don't remember the Amazing Spider-Man movies having him play as kind of he's kind of just slightly eccentric in this movie.
No, I feel like
and
that's
a little odd, but like in a good way.
I feel like that's how it was in Amazing Spider-Man. Yeah.
See, and that's weird to me because as the kids say these days, I was vibing real hard on this. And I was kind of blown away because I haven't seen those movies since they came out, really.
Well, I remember, as we discussed earlier, I was not on board with Andrew Garfield at first, but I remember after the first Amazing Spider-Man, I've just been like, okay, yeah, he's fantastic. And I thought he brought that same energy as he did in those movies. And I thought he jumped right back into it.
Nice.
Perfectly.
Oh, me too.
And I'll tell you what. It was the smart idea to have him be the first reveal, rather than Toby. And the way it was done was brilliant because you're like, it's Spider-Man. Yeah, which one is it going to be?
Oh my god! Like that, the way that they did that was just brilliant, and low key. Like when Ned is doing the circle thing, like he's like, find Peter Parker, and I'm like, oh, this is funny, Ned, magic and stuff. And then like my brain caught up to it like a few seconds later, and I'm like. Oh, here it is. Here it is.
That's not Tom.
Yeah,
that's not Tom.
We're here. We're in it now. And we're in the end game now. And I was so floored by it.
And he was so good.
So good.
Like, it was like, you really need more proof than this? Yeah. And then Ned's mom coming down. Can you get that cobweb? That was brilliant.
So great. And the balance between the three of them, like the playing off of each other was really funny and really fun. And I know we're getting a little bit ahead of it here, but also the cathartic moments between them was just amazing.
Talk about cathartic moment. I didn't realize how much it was going to hit me when Toby came on screen.
Oh, really?
I don't know why, but I was like, fuck, it's Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
And man, it brought me back. Like when he showed up on screen, it's just like, oh, okay.
Yep.
This is it.
Yeah.
And it was great. It was amazing. I thought
absolutely
he played off that older Spider-Man, I've been there vibe so well.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the old guy. Come to me. I'll tell you. It's like shit's gonna suck.
Yep.
But man, he did such a great job.
And just that instant camaraderie between the three of them. Yeah. Just so electric. Amazing.
Them vibing in the lab together.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And I love, the part where Andrew Garfield saves Zendaya.
I nearly bawled my eyes out.
I was like, oh, because when it happened, I knew immediately, like, oh no, that's gonna be so hard for him.
Yep.
But man, it was just
the way he played it, where he's like emotional about it, and she's like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm fine." Just like that, like simple little like performance there. I'm just like. It carries so much weight.
It really does.
Oh my god, it was beautiful, and it was beautiful.
Toby talking about how he went and killed the murderer of Ben, and he's like, look, it did nothing, it changed nothing.
Yeah, and I love that. I love that is the core conflict among the three of them. Is they're trying to
not kill.
Yeah, they're trying to not kill them, and they're trying to talk our Peter off the ledge of like killing Goblin,
right?
Because of Aunt May, which Aunt May death scene.
And let's talk about that. Yeah, because first of all, so Aunt May is killed.
Yes,
and we all died a little inside.
Yes.
As soon as Goblin showed up in the background, I was like, God damn it, I know what's gonna happen. And I was like, this is bullshit.
I did not think that far ahead It was
you
after
didn't?
it was after she got knocked down by the glider. I was like, oh, she's dead. She's gonna die.
Right before I was like, she's dead. She's dead. And then there was like that sliver of hope because she's like standing until she gives the line. And as soon as she gives the line, it's like, no,
And that
it's done.
Like just like you saying her giving the line just sent chills down my spine right now. Like the memory of that.
That was such a beautiful way to finally introduce the with great power comes great responsibility into the MCU.
Yep.
It was heartbreaking because you knew for certain at that point May was dead.
Yep.
She was not going to survive this.
Absolutely.
And God, how do you like? How does Peter survive that?
Yeah.
And
It's just
he's lost every mentor. You know, he's lost Tony. He's lost Quentin because Quentin ended up being a bad guy.
Yep.
And now he's lost Aunt May. And it's just heartbreaking.
Absolutely heartbreaking. And I love that they went for that. I love that they chose this movie to get to that level of emotional stuff because we have the other Spider-Men like that are consoling him, or they know what he's going through. Right. They know what he's been through. And I love that moment where they're all introduced for the first time together and they're like, oh yeah, I've been there. Like,
we got to find him.
Yeah. And the great power comes great responsibility thing, like Tom Holland's like reaction to that, like, how do you guys know? And it's like, that's our thing. It is just so, I adore this movie so much.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to go see it again.
Me neither. I'm kind of kicking myself that I didn't go today, but yeah, it's so damn good. And then the whole fact that the run of the entire movie is Peter wanting to save the villains. Right. Like this idea that the idea that their destiny is to die by the hand of Stephen King, Spider-Man, die by the hand of Spider-Man.
Well, I like that interaction between him and Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is like, hey, look, man, this is their fate. Yeah. And to tell a teenager in high school, is like, hey, look, man, it's their fate to die because of you. Right. And we have to make sure that happens. Yep. Man, that's gut punch heavy. For anybody. Yeah.
That's heavy. Especially for a character who's already suffered so much loss.
Yeah.
Has died himself. So true. Yeah, it's insane. And I just love the emotional aspect of that catharsis of wanting to save the villains is just so almost anachronistic to what a superhero comic book movie is.
Right. And it's hard even for the viewer, at least from my standpoint, to even get on board with that. I'm like, come on. Yeah. These guys, they did some fucked up shit. You know, it's like, are we really going to try that hard? But and it plays off so beautifully with a common kind of complaint with some comic book movies that, like, why does every comic book movie have to have the villain get killed? Right. Because the nature of comics is, they're ongoing and everything. Like, why not have, them just incapacitated or whatever? But they play that off so well. And I don't know. It's just, it's such a unique, special movie for me. I loved it so much. Yeah, and introducing the individual ways that you're going to incapacitate each villain, I thought was good. Especially, I like the way that Electrode's little power dampener. Yeah, I thought that was fun. Although I thought the Sandman. There's like, we have the device, throw it at Sandman, which is fine because you can't spend, all day. Right. But I like that
I could suspend my disbelief for that, but it was a little silly.
I like that they fixed the inhibitor chip for Doc Ock, and I love that Doc Ock came to the rescue at the end.
Me too.
I thought that was great. Brilliant way. Because, Doc Ock was never an evil man. Right. He got fucked by ambition and his own circumstances.
That's one of the reasons why that movie works so well is that it's his malfunctioning chip, and he is good. He's that mentor for Peter. And that scene where he's talking to his Peter, and he's like, "Oh, Peter, you grew up and everything." It's just that's just and here's the thing. All the stuff with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield and all the villains, I would be hard pressed to find a single scene of that feels like it's intended to just tap into our nostalgia. It's like every single scene with them is just so organic and well done.
Correct. Like it's just nothing was shoehorned into anything. Like
No.
we got to make sure we stick this point here and
Yeah.
there. But no, you're right. Organic is exactly how I describe
Yeah.
it too.
Much like Tobey Maguire's web shooters.
I loved that interaction.
I loved
I was like,
that.
wait, you can't do
Yeah,
this?
I loved that. And then also, I just remembered this. That, like, I don't want to brag or anything, but I was an Avenger.
Yeah.
It's like, what is that? Were
What
you in a
does that
band?
mean? Yeah.
Are you in a band? It's just like, oh my God, this is.
I love I was like, I fought an alien.
great.
Yeah, I fought an alien here and in space. Like, you've been to space?
That is it. The comedy is so well done. It is just so brilliant. It's God, that's so great.
Yeah, classic Spider-Man is what
Yeah.
it is.
Oh yeah. I'm glad that they held back the urge to do the you me thing.
They kind of did. There's a really quick scene where they're discussing how to be a team, and
Okay,
there's a point where they all kind of, but
That's fair.
They didn't blatantly outright do it.
Yeah.
I was okay with having the reference in there. It's fun.
Oh yeah. Well,
just like they threw in the I'm somewhat of a scientist myself.
Oh, that was great.
That was great. I was like,
Yeah.
oh,
That was awesome.
That's amazing.
Yep. The yeah. I forgot about that line. God, that is honestly probably my favorite theater experience of this entire year.
Oh yeah, I think that
yeah.
hands down.
Yeah. Old was fun. No.
Yeah, the nerds are complaining of
Let's hear it.
Obviously they're all drawn to the universe because of shared knowledge of Peter Parker being Spider-Man. The nerds are bitching because, well, Electro didn't find out that Peter Parker was Spider-Man. But I remember walking out of the movie theater after the mid-credit scene, which shows Tom Hardy. And I'm like, how? And I was like, well, how does Venom?
He doesn't know.
Venom doesn't know. But I was like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Venom's going to be in the next Spider-Man. It's cool.
Right.
It's fine.
Yeah. How'd you feel about that? Let's talk about that briefly.
Well, so
yeah.
me and my brother had a brief discussion about this because he was like, he was like, I really hope Tom Hardy's going to be Venom. I'm like, he's not.
No.
The nature of the way the Venom symbiote is in the MCU now negates Tom Hardy, Eddie Brock being in it now. So I don't know how they're going to do it. Venom is. The symbiote has attached itself to several characters within the MCU. I don't know what they're going to do, but it's not going to be Eddie Brock.
Okay. That's interesting because, okay. Yeah. I mean, I could see it being Eddie Brock, just Tom Holland's Eddie Brock, if there's one.
Well,
in the
if
universe.
that's the case, then fine. But it's not going to be Tom Hardy.
Oh, no, definitely not. Do you have a character from the comics that you would prefer to see in like the next Spider-Man movie as Venom?
No, I don't, because again, I know Flash attaches himself to the symbiote, and I don't want to see Flash.
Yeah,
you know,
I like Tony Revolori or whatever.
Oh no, he's great.
He's great, but that version of Flash,
he's not. Yeah, that's not the version. Like the version of Flash that gets him is a war veteran. He's a bully in high school. That sure, Flash is a bully, but in the not a bully.
He's a Gen Z bully.
Yeah,
let's be real.
It's
nothing against Gen Z, guys.
Yeah. Second attack on Gen Z. No, I don't want to see Flash as Venom.
Me neither.
So I'm sure they already have a plan for it.
Yeah.
So we'll see, but it's not going to be Tom Hardy.
Yeah. One of my favorite bits in this movie was Ned asking Tobey Maguire, like, hey, do you have a best friend? Because he's wondering, like, are there other versions of me?
Yeah. I killed him.
I killed him after he tried to kill me. And then, like, the way that Jacob Batalon or whatever his name is, the way that he plays that is like he's thinking, like, is that my destiny?
Right.
Is that what I'm going to do?
Well, he plays it back. He's like, and
great.
I promise you, Peter, I'm never going to turn into a bad guy and try to kill you.
It is so great. So great. I loved this movie. Matt Murdock.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Charlie Cox. That was boom.
So good. So good.
That scene where when he catches the brick.
Yeah. It's like, I'm a really good lawyer. That I love it. And I'm fine if that's just a cameo that's not going to go anywhere. No? Okay, good.
It's not.
I was being diplomatic because I want to see Daredevil in this. Some friends of mine said that they would love to see like a Spider-Man with Daredevil, Kingpin, and Black Cat?
Black Cat is a
Black
character,
Cat, yeah. For the next one, I'm like, yeah, I'm all for that. Bring back Vincent D'Onofrio.
All I'm going to say, watch Hawkeye.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay.
Okay.
Nice.
Watch Hawkeye.
Question about Hawkeye. Are there post-credit scenes in the episodes?
There hasn't been one yet.
Okay, gotcha.
So,
Okay.
so I've fast forwarded. You know how in the Disney Plus TV shows, their credit scenes are like 8 minutes long.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, there hasn't been.
But
one
they're
yet.
always really cool, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Matt Murdock and that, great. I thought that was awesome. Yeah.
I
What
heard
else?
someone's like, well, why is Matt Murdock his lawyer? And I'm like, well, why wouldn't he be?
Yeah.
Like, he's a New York lawyer.
Right.
He's prominent. He's already within the superhero realm. Why
Yeah.
wouldn't he offer his services to Peter Parker in this?
Exactly.
So,
Oh, so they were saying, like, why would he be his lawyer?
Right,
Okay.
yeah.
I thought you were saying, like, why would he be in that universe? It's like, well,
oh, no. Well,
Yeah.
it's well established that he is part of the MCU.
right.
Because they start off the first season of Daredevil
Yeah.
talking about the New
The
York incident.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Man, I'm so happy to be this excited about the MCU again, because like I said, these movies this year, they've been fine.
But there's not been...
They haven't blown my hair back.
Well, it's not even that they haven't blown my hair back. Since Endgame, there hasn't been you haven't seen a plan yet.
Mhm.
So
Except a little bit in Loki. A little bit.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
That blew my mind because it opens it up so wide.
Well, that's gonna blow open in Ant-Man in the
Yeah.
multiverse, or not the
the Quantumania?
Quantumania. But the movies though, they Eternals
Yeah.
expands it to the universe and and the galaxy. But Shang-Chi,
Yeah.
as much as I love it, is just an introduction into a new
Yeah.
Avenger.
Oh, yeah.
And Black Widow is Scarlett Johansson's movie that she's deserved.
her swan song.
Yeah, she's deserved for years.
Yeah. And that also helps introduce Yelena and Florence Pugh, who I love. Like, I think she's great and everything. Yeah.
It's
and
no
I know
secret.
she's in
Yeah, I was gonna say it's
Hawkeye.
no secret she's in Hawkeye and she's so good
Nice.
in it too. So
Very nice.
yeah.
Yeah, let's talk. We haven't not even talked about the spell or anything.
Oh well.
How do you feel about the ending of that, where everyone forgets Peter Parker?
Man, it's
Yeah.
a gut
That's
punch.
what I meant. Yeah.
It's a gut punch. So nobody knows who Peter Parker is, including MJ and Ned.
Yep.
And that is heartbreaking.
Oh, absolutely. I had, I heard someone told me that they had a conversation with someone who was like heartbroken, thinking like they're never going to get back together or anything. And it's like,
I was like, stop! It's a comic book movie.
it's a comic.
All right,
Yeah.
I like the end scene where he chooses not to just dive headfirst into hey, we're in love.
Yeah.
But it sets the pace for what is to come forward later
Yes.
on. So
Which, again, I would love it if the next Spider-Man movie is mostly just a ground level Spider-Man doing his thing in New York, doing
it's
that.
Venom. It's gonna be Venom.
Oh, yeah.
So it's gonna be Venom.
Sure. But when he sees Happy at the grave, it broke me a little bit, because like when he says like, how did you know her? It's just like, oh fuck yeah, no one knows Peter
Right.
Parker. God damn it. Yeah, it's so.
But it's gonna be interesting
So great.
seeing him start his life.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny. I understand they're trying to show, these are the steps he has to take now because of he's starting from nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But you're gonna tell me that genius Peter Parker needs the GED book?
Oh yeah,
I'm pretty sure
yeah.
he can fucking go and pass the GED.
Right.
But
yeah.
I understand. Well, obviously they have to. He's like, hey, he's
Yep.
got to start from the bottom.
Right.
But
Yeah. I didn't even really connect with that's because he doesn't have like he's new.
yeah,
Basically.
yeah, he's like he doesn't have a social security number right now.
Yeah. Which I'm sure that there are government things in place following the blip. So
Oh,
He could probably-
good point.
yeah. But to kind of wind down, mid-credit scene, post-credit teaser.
Well, talk about the ending with Goblin.
Oh yeah.
The final,
Duh.
the final
Yeah.
fight with Goblin, and
Mhm.
how Peter Parker was going for the kill. He was going to kill Goblin. And I love Toby stepping in, especially it was a throwback to the way he caught the glider in the very first Spider-Man movie.
Yep.
And the talk he got, I thought Toby was dead.
Me too.
I was like, no, come on.
Oh yeah.
But no, I thought that ended so good, and they even still saved Goblin at the end.
Oh yeah. Just really, really great stuff. And also the fight scenes with Tom Holland, I feel like there was something like something a little bit more like fluid and the choreography seemed to be like a step up. Not that the other ones were bad, but like I felt, maybe it was in Tom Holland's performance because he's so emotionally charged, but like he was kicking his ass.
Well,
and,
I think that's really kind of the point there, because it's a very emotional beatdown, as it were. He's gonna kill the guy that murdered his aunt. So it's a very. I feel like it was reminiscent of something else of the same nature of.
Yeah,
I'm sure that scene's played out in several different types of movies, but
the thing that comes to mind, I don't know if this is what you're thinking, and I don't think it fits all that well, but Dark Knight Rises, Bane and Batman.
Yeah, except for Batman really doesn't come close to breaking his vow there, but I don't know, but it was a brutal scene, and you felt the hatred in the beating.
You really did. Yeah. Okay. So then let's wind down with Pizza was messing around. Let's wind down with the mid-credit scene and post-credit teaser.
So obviously the mid-credit scene is introducing Tom Hardy into the universe.
Yeah.
Him and his bar,
briefly,
where we left him in Venom.
Let there be carnage. Yeah.
I love him getting drunk at the bar and having the events of the last 2 decades told to him by the bartender.
Yeah.
It's like, you tell me that there's a group of heroes and there was aliens.
Aliens aren't purple. Aliens infect you and they won't go away or whatever. So great. But I loved that because while I was watching it, I hadn't seen Let There Be Carnage.
Oh, you hadn't seen it yet?
I hadn't seen it yet. I watched that like yesterday. But I hadn't seen that. But even if I had seen it, I would have thought like, oh, they're like Tom Hardy's going to be the Venom in this, and that's where they're going to bring it together. But I thought that it was just really, really a stroke of genius that they just leave behind a little bit of the symbiote.
Yeah, I think that works perfectly, and I think that was probably done as an agreement between Sony.
I agree.
And Disney on that front. So they're like, hey, look, turns out Tom Hardy's pretty popular as Venom. Yep. And I know Tom Hardy has made comments that he would like to fight Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
It might still happen, but I don't think it's going to be Tom Holland versus Tom Hardy.
Right.
So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Although, this is weird. Okay. All right. Going a little in depth to the nerdism, obviously at the end it showcases Tom Hardy's Venom going back to his universe, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Correct.
But going forward with Morbius coming out in January, they've already established that Vulture is in that universe with Morbius because he's in prison with him. Mm-hmm. But they also established that Morbius knows who Venom is because in the previews he goes, "I am Venom." Goes, I'm just kidding. I'm Dr. Morbius. So they've kind of fucked themselves already.
Sure.
Continuity is damned. Mm-hmm. But that's just a little into the nerd verse there.
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't be a comic book franchise without weird continuity.
Fair.
So yeah. And then we talked a little bit before recording and everything, but the end credit was a teaser trailer for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. How do you feel about this movie? How are you excited for it?
I'm pumped for it. Mm-hmm. For one, I love how they ended WandaVision.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see Elizabeth Olsen back as
Wanda
Maximoff, aka the Scarlet Witch, and the whole multiverse thing obviously got opened up with the Loki series. So I'm super pumped to see how it's brought into play here.
Me too.
So I'm really excited for it, and I will reiterate, it's clear from the preview that What If is going to be
Okay.
important. So you're going to need to watch that.
Nice. Okay. Also, slight spoiler for Eternals. Does the end credit scene imply that What If is also going to be important going forward?
Not for Eternals.
Okay. Because I thought there was conjecture that the sound off screen, the voice off screen was Jeffrey Wright.
No, the voice off screen is Marshall Ali.
Oh,
It's
really?
Blade. Yeah. It's
Oh,
Blade.
whoa. That just blew my mind a little bit.
You didn't know that?
No, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eternals for me just kind of came and went. I was just like, yeah.
I enjoyed it. I want to revisit it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
Do you-
Marshall Ali.
Yeah. Before we go, do you have any insight into why Kumail Nanjiani was just not in the climax of
I know that
Eternals?
I know that was your sticking point.
Yeah.
I think you're.
I wouldn't say it was necessarily a sticking point. I just thought it was weird.
I think you're reading too much into it.
Okay.
I honestly, I thought it made sense for his character to vacate the fight.
Okay.
Given his loyalty to Icarus and to the rest of the group. So
Okay.
I thought it made sense in the grand scheme of things. So that's just my opinion.
Okay.
I looked into it. I did not find anything that would
me
indicate
neither.
there was anything
Yeah.
behind the scenes.
I will say we never did an Eternals episode. I wrote a review on the website and everything, but I will say that in Eternals, when Kumail Nanjiani's friend who has the video camera and stuff, he uses a Rode video mic NTG. Rode is the brand of all of the equipment I have. Yeah. So anyway, just a nice little nerdy thing. All right. Well, I think that this should just about do it. I think I'm not going to make that joke about a potentially dead neighbor. That's serious.
I'll find out.
Yeah. I might actually just release this as its own episode because we went pretty long and it was really good. And I know that Sam and I are probably going to go along with.
I was going to say Matrix is going to go long.
Yeah.
I would feel.
So stay tuned for next time when we review The Matrix Resurrections with Sam Watermeyer from the Midwest Film Journal and the Indiana Film Journalist Association. So yeah, any parting thoughts, Fekkes, before we head out into the great beyond?
Well, this just got me excited back into the MCU. Like I said, I enjoyed all the films so far this year, but this is the first one that makes it seem like we're back on track to a plan.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Oh yeah.
And I think that's evident going forward because we have big movies coming out in 2022. We have obviously the
Doctor Strange
and Scarlet Witch in their movie. We're going to have Thor in the Guardians of the Galaxy and Thor in Love and Thunder. And then we're going to have, Kang. Kang is going to be the next big bad. And he's being introduced. And, the Kang the Conqueror is being introduced into the Quantumania. So,
yeah.
So yeah, I feel like we're getting back on track to a cohesive plan.
Yeah, I agree, and I can't wait. And I love the casting of Jonathan Majors as
he's
Kang.
perfect.
I can't wait. I can't wait. So, all right. Well, thank you so much, Fekkes.
Thank you for having me again.
Yeah, it's good to have you on, and we will keep you guys posted on the status of my neighbors. So all right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening, and check out Patreon and all of our stuff. I have an archive page for all the stuff I've done this year. It's been a lot. It's a big year. Go ahead, check it out. Also check out Patreon. So thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you next time for The Matrix Resurrections. And now, here's a short clip from our Patreon exclusive RSS feed. To hear the full clip and more exclusive Patreon content, go to patreon.com/obsessiveviewer and become a patron at the minimum rate of $1 per month. Thank you and enjoy. Kind of what's happening with The Power of the Dog, especially with Cody Smith-McPhee being heralded as a good supporting actor in the movie, because he does a fine job, but ultimately it's so understated and so ineffectual throughout the movie that like the end of the movie is where he kind of shines a little bit more. And I don't think that's enough to compensate for him being kind of just around in the movie and not very pivotal to the whole story. Because again, it is Benedict Cumberbatch's movie wholeheartedly. He's great in it, but I don't know. I just don't get it. But anyway, The Power of the Dog, I rated it 3 stars on Letterboxd. It's available on Netflix. If you want to check it out, go check it out. I don't recommend it, honestly. It's really just kind of a disappointing movie. So, yeah. So that's it for Power of the Dog. And I'm going to close out this Patreon potpourri with a review of Ingvild Svi Flick, their movie Ninja Baby. And I'm going to play a clip from the trailer right now.
This podcast was edited and produced by Matt Hurt and presented by ObsessiveViewer.com. You can find links to all of our shows at ObsessiveViewer.com/podcasts. For exclusive bonus content, including reviews, commentaries, and B-roll episodes, you can subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/ObsessiveViewer. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.